Hill Heat.
What's going on, everybody? This is your former AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Once a champion, always a champion. Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve's house. You're watching True Heel Heat podcast.
Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3, and we are back once again with another TV review. This time, we are breaking down and reviewing Disney Plus new MCU Marvel series or mini-series, Wonder Man, which came out, dropped on Disney Plus on January 27, 2026. And it might be one of the best MCU Marvel series on Disney Plus since Low-Key. Low-Key, I was impressed. So we're going to talk all about it as we usually do here on True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment. I appreciate y'all if you're joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. If you're watching live, this is a premiere. This is not live with you guys. This is a pre-recorded video, but appreciate y'all if you're joining us for it. And we got a lot to discuss from this series because I was very impressed. I think that MCU didn't do the best with pushing this as far as like the promotion behind this, but man, did this over deliver. This over delivered big time. So I was looking forward to talking about it with all of you. So if you're with us for the premiere, if you're with us on demand, I appreciate you both. Show your appreciation back the simplest way possible. Drop the thumbs up on the video. That helps out the YouTube algorithm. You can also share this video with all of your MCU family, friends, and fans on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. You can also sound off in the live chat. You can sound off in the comments down below. If you're watching for the premiere in the live chat, you can sound off there. I'll probably be there with you to talk some more about it if you watch the series. And if you're with us on demand, comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Were you impressed with Wonder Man like me? Did you not like it? Because it was very different from a lot of other MCU films. This is probably one of the most unique stories that the MCU has given us in quite some time. This wasn't a prototypical like superhero show. There wasn't like Wonder Man shows off his powers like 3 times. I think I counted 3 times in the entire series. Simon Williams shows off his powers here. So it's a very unique show. It's more of a romance comedy, a rom-com, but it's more about the bromance between Trevor Slattery and Simon Williams more than it is about a man and a woman. So it's very different. It's very focused on the Hollywood and the journey that actors go on. It's also a character piece. It's a character journey that you go on and an arc that you see for Simon Williams throughout this series, an arc you see for Trevor Slattery throughout this series. So it's very unique from anything else that you see from the MCU. I got halfway through the series and I saw, one of the most acclaimed episodes of the series. And I was like, yeah, this is not that bad, but I've been there before. You guys have seen me. I broke down and did the reviews for Ironheart, and like halfway through Ironheart, I was like, this is actually good. We got a story about a black black protagonist, and I'm actually interested in it. I'm actually interested to see their journey, and then they kind of fumbled on the landing. That's kind of what a lot of these MCU Disney Plus specials do. They get you hooked in, they get you on this journey with the characters, and then they kind of let you down like midway through, and it's always kind of depressing where the MCU lands on things. But man, this one did a shooting star press and a 450 splash and then a 630 and then landed perfectly right on the landing spot. I think that this was one of the best Disney Plus series in quite some time, probably a top 5 Disney Plus Marvel series that they have produced. Like, I know Loki is a lot of people's favorites. WandaVision is a lot of people's favorites, but I think this is way up there with the rest of those, way up there in the conversation with Loki and WandaVision. So my early suggestion to you, this one is a must watch. You should watch it. It's not a must watch in regards to where the MCU is at. This is kind of like a bottle series where it doesn't advance any story in the wider story that's going on with the MCU, with the multiverse or the mutant saga that's about to begin. Even though I will say maybe it is going to be a part of the mutant saga. So we got a lot to discuss here. So first off, I'll tell y'all the premise. The premise of the show, it reads: struggling actors Simon Williams and Trevor Slattery try to land roles in a remake of the superhero film Wonder Man. So, gotta give it up first of all to the actor who plays Simon Williams, Yahya Abdul Mateen. He's most known for a lot of his other superhero work. He was in the two Aquaman movies as the antagonist in that film. He was most notably, I know him from being in The Watchmen. Watchmen, where he was Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen, and I enjoyed both of his works. I don't think I've seen the second Aquaman movie. I've definitely seen the first Aquaman movie, and I enjoyed him in that. And I enjoyed him in Watchmen, but he killed this role. This is probably the best role that he's ever been in. So to describe his character, he's an aspiring actor who auditions for the lead role in the remake of an in-universe Wonder Man film and secretly possesses ionic energy-based superpowers, including superhuman strength and speed, as well as the ability to create massive explosions. The showrunner for this show is Andrew Guest. This was also a show we should bring up the executive producers, of course, Kevin Feige and all those guys. This is a story. The producer is Bonnie Menuz, and this is Brett Polak. Brett Polak is most known for his work of the Shang-Chi, which is one of the better origin stories that the MCU has produced in a while. But showrunner Andrew Guest describes Simon's character as an incredibly powerful in a way that even he is not fully aware. Then you got Marvel Studios executive Brian Gay adding that Simon doesn't even know the extent of what his powers are, although both noted that the character does not care that he has powers and simply wants to be an accomplished actor like Daniel Day-Lewis. Then you got X Mayo, who plays the role of Janelle Jackson, who is Simon's agent. We got Zanuck Brick, who plays Von Kovac, who is a celebrated and reclusive director, who is the director of the Wonder Man remake. And then you got Ben Kingsley, who is probably my favorite character of the whole thing, because Ben Kingsley plays Trevor Slattery. If you don't know, now you know his name. Ben Kingsley is the one who played Trevor Slattery in the original, Iron Man 3 movie, where he basically portrays Mandarin. It's revealed in that film that he's just an actor who's playing the Mandarin, and we wouldn't meet the real Mandarin until Shang-Chi, which he was also in that film as well. He helps out with Shang-Chi and the gang to beat the real Mandarin, which is Shang-Chi's father and his 10 rings. You got Arian Mayed, who plays P. Cleary, who is Department of Damage Control agent who considers Simon as an extraordinary threat. He is the P. Cleary also was introduced in Spider-Man Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah. I always confuse. I know there's Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. I always confused Far From Home and No Way Home. No Way Home is the third film. That's where P. Curry was introduced, and he was the one who was interrogating Peter Parker in that film. He was introduced there. He was also involved in Miss Marvel, a part of the Damage Control gang that tried to basically put a stop to everything going on in Jersey City. You got Joe Plantanino, who plays a fictional version of himself and an old rival of Trevor Slattery. We got Byron Byers, who plays Damar Davis, aka Doorman, which is part of probably the most talked about and popular episode of this miniseries. And you also got Josh Gad, who plays a fictional version of himself. Of course, Josh Gad, most known for a couple of different roles that he's been in. I most know him because I'm a father, and he is the voice of the snowman in Frozen. That's where I know him for. Sorry if you know him for another role, but I know him because of that. But we're gonna break down each episode. I'm gonna give you, out of 10, what I thought about the episode, who I thought was the MVP, LVP of the episode, and then we will wrap it all up at the end, and I'll give an overall score out of 10 for the episode. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle for all the episodes, as well as the series overall. And I'll give you the MVP, LVP for the entire series. And you want to do the same? You could do so in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought out of 10. What did you think about Wonder Man? If you want to give me your grades for your scores for each episode, you could do that as well. Always appreciate the support there. The director is Destin Daniel Crenton. Daniel Crenton is the one who produced Shang-Chi, and he's gonna be the director for he's the director for Shang-Chi, and he's gonna be the director for Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man movie, Brand New Day. So I'm looking forward to that because he smashed Shang-Chi, he smashed Wonder Man. I think he's going to do great for Spider-Man Brand New Day. But we're starting off with number 1, the first episode, which was Matinee. Struggling actor Simon Williams is fired from a small role in the series American Horror Story after delaying production by overthinking his character and making repeated requests for changes. This first scene had me so annoyed with Simon. I just want to mention that. I was so annoyed with Simon. I was like, oh, I don't like this character. I don't like this character because I'm like, dude, just do the role. Like, you made a good suggestion at first. Then you made a second good suggestion. But then you just kept dragging it. Like, you are a guest on this show. Why are you doing all of this for a small role when you're just going to die? This shit frustrated me as hell, but he is dumped then by his girlfriend Vivian that same day. Way to throw salt in my wound, which got me on his side. I mean, I was a little bit more sympathetic for him after that. We then get Simon meets actor Trevor Slattery as he goes to a matinee show to see an older movie. He is known for playing the Mandarin as part of a terrorist plot in Iron Man 3. Who informs Simon that he is auditioning for acclaimed director Von Kovac's remake of the 1980s superhero film Wonder Man. As Wonder Man was one of his favorite childhood movies, we would see later on that his father took him to see Wonder Man for the first time. Simon begs his agent Janelle Jackson. I said Janelle Grant. I'm sorry. Whenever I see Janelle, I think of the Vince McMahon lawsuit. I apologize. My wrestling bang is on. He begs his agent Janelle Jackson for a chance to audition, but is rejected due to his firing and behavior. Simon gets the audition information from her computer after she goes away anyway. And after seeing Simon panicking about how to approach the character when he gets to the audition, Slattery advises him to give a more natural performance, which helps Simon in his audition. After the pair are done with the audition, they have drinks together, and Slattery is called by the Department of Damage Control, the DODC agent P. Cleary, to confirm that he has made contact with Simon, who is suspected of having superpowers and is considered unstable and dangerous. I thought this was a good introduction episode, kind of setting the groundwork for everything. We see that Simon is a person that really overthinks everything that he does when it comes to acting because he cares so much. He has so much care for the job that he's doing, for the role that he's playing, and he wants it to be absolutely perfect. That it doesn't really matter to him, honestly, if the role is small or not. He just wants to perform it as perfectly as possible, and he wants everything to make sense on a structural and intellectual level that makes it different from a lot of other actors that are going to be out there that are just going to do the job that is given to them. So I appreciate his care for everything. He just really annoyed me in that first scene and him just ruining the job for himself basically and get himself fired. But I like the hustle that he showed with getting the information for the Wonder Man film. His whole interactions with Trevor Slattery was very natural, and you can see that he actually admires him and has a lot of respect for Trevor Slattery and his work outside of being the Mandarin. But it was a nice little twist at the end to find out that Slattery was basically setting him up, and basically everything that happened in regards to their interaction at the movie theater, their interaction at the audition, it was all planned for him to make contact with Simon because he's working for Damage Control, which we wouldn't see the more information about that until the following episode. So then we go to the next episode, which is called Self Tape, episode 2. After he was kidnapped from prison and held by Yu Win Wu's 10 Rings criminal organization, Slattery returns to Hollywood intent on living up to his mother's hopes for him as an actor. He is immediately arrested by the FBI, and Cleary offers him the option of working for the DODC in exchange for not finishing his prison sentence in the present. Janelle tells Simon that his Wonder Man audition impressed the casting director, and he has been asked to do a self-tape audition for an independent film. Simon gets frustrated trying to film the audition himself, and seeing Vivian in an old self-tape video causes his powers to activate. His body releases an explosion of energy inside his apartment, which causes a lot of damage that he has to just put like a sheet over, basically. Simon asks Slattery for help with the audition, just as Cleary tells Slattery to use a device to hack Simon's computer. After unsuccessfully trying to film the audition at a self-tape studio, Slattery's apartment, and the house of Slattery's nemesis, Joe Plantalino, which was great stuff. Joe is someone that I've seen in several different movies for a number of years, so they really got his personality down right, and just the underlying animosity that Slattery had towards Pantalini because he said that he stole the role on his hit TV show from him, and he had this underlying kind of problem with him, but he owed him, so that's why they went to his house to try to film the self-tape. But his spiteful kind of digging into Trevor kind of annoyed Simon to the point that Simon was like, yo, let's just leave this. So they eventually went back to Simon's house to finally film the self-tape. The pair return to Simon's apartment and they film a successful take. Slattery secretly hacks Simon's computer and also discovers damage from the explosion in his apartment, which Simon does not kind of like overreact when Trevor removes the sheet and sees that. So I wanted to combine like the description of both episodes before I give a score. So episode 1, it's a thumbs up. Good introductory episode to kind of get the premise of who Simon is and who Trevor is, and the kind of the story of them being struggling actors across. So I'm going to give that a 7.5 out of 10. The MVP for episode 1, Matinee, I'm going to give it to Trevor. Because Trevor, he has this eccentric personality that just works, and it attracts different people, and it attract Simon, of course. That's how he made the kind of the interaction with each other. Can't give it to Simon because Simon got fired from American Horror Story. So he's actually my LVP for the first episode. Then episode 2, self-tape. I want to give it to Joe Plantalino. I want to give it to Joe Plantalino for being him. He was just him in the second episode. So I'm going to give it to him. LVP, I'm going to give it to Pete Cleary because he's obviously kind of the villain in all of this because he's putting Trevor in a position where he has to lie to Simon and basically manipulate him along the way. I don't really like that too much because, despite my feelings towards Simon with everything that happened in episode 1, he's just a struggling actor who's just trying to make ends meet and just trying to be successful in the business. So I can't be too upset with him. So then we get episode 3, Pacoma. So Cleary is unable to find any evidence of Simon's powers from his hacked computer. He tells Slattery that he needs to go to Simon's childhood home in Pacoma, Los Angeles for the birthday party of Simon's mother, Martha, using a wiretap to record his conversations there. Slattery convinces Simon to take him and is introduced to Martha, as well as Simon's brother Eric and other relatives. While Martha is proud of Simon, Eric is very dismissive of his brother's Hollywood career. And Slattery finds that none of the other relatives are close to Simon or know much about him. This is where you kind of get the sense that Simon isn't really close to his family and doesn't have a lot of friends. Trevor is kind of like the first real friend that he's made in Hollywood. You get Martha, who tells Slattery that Simon has always been lonely, and she is happy that he has made a friend. Simon argues with Eric and unintentionally destroys part of the kitchen, which Eric recently had to renovate. Then you get Simon and Slattery. They leave the party, and Simon states that Slattery is the first person outside of his family to know about his powers and actually see it in person. He considers whether Eric is right, and it is time for him to give up on acting. Slattery decides to, at this point, after the words from Martha and hearing how Simon's really feeling, he decides to destroy the recording from his wiretap. Just as Janelle basically calls Simon to inform them that both of them have been given callbacks for roles in Wonder Man. This was a great episode. I thought it was really well done with like seeing kind of like the family vibes of Simon's family, how they interact with one another, how his party. It felt like I was kind of seeing like from the outside looking in, like one of my like cookouts at my sister's house in Jersey that I used to be a part of and used to go to when I was younger. And just, yeah, it has that vibe. I've been to many birthday parties and cookouts and family reunions that look just like this party for Martha, Simon's mother. And I thought Martha was so sweet, so genuine, so motherly. Like you really got the vibes of she just loves Simon so much, and she believes in Simon a lot. And you get Eric on the other end, who is very kind of dismissive, very kind of passive aggressive towards his brother, making slide comments, making slides about his Hollywood career. He was snooping in whenever they asked about the American Horror Story or whenever Martha brought it up, and he could tell that Simon basically something went wrong with the role, and that causes the whole big argument in the kitchen where Martha's trying to defend Simon, and Simon's getting more and more angry as Eric kind of digs into him, saying that he has a hopeless career and that he's not going to be successful. It's not been successful for him, and that his mother is basically, he was mad that he gave the mother a gift that basically the mother paid for herself because she's helping him out financially, and that she's still treating him like a kid, like they were when they were younger. So all of that gets to Simon mentally, and which brings out his powers, and he uses it to basically smash the counter in the kitchen, and basically the explosion of energy, of canonic energy inside of him, basically caused the whole kitchen to be destroyed. It was quite the scene, but I blame Eric 100%. I don't blame Simon for that. And Trevor was really trying to dig in to different family members and realizing that no one really knows Simon. Like he talked to people that he grew up with, that he used to ride and like carpool with, and they don't know anything about him, and they don't keep in touch with him, and he doesn't keep in touch with them. Love the conversation that Simon had with a couple of his cousins where they're asking him, "Oh, how does it feel to be out in Hollywood? Have you met any famous people? Have you met people with superpowers? Have you met Captain America?" And he makes the slight about Captain America where he's like, "Isn't he just a dude with a shield? He's just a regular dude with a shield." And they're like, "Oh, he don't like Captain America." And then they start trying to speak in Creole, and he understands them, and he just walks away from them. Oh, it's so good. It's so well done. It's so well done, this episode. I probably enjoyed this one more than most. So this one, so episode 2, I didn't give the score for. I gave episode 2 I'll give that also a 7.5 out of 10. Episode 3, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. This was the best episode up to this point. It's getting better as it goes along at this point. Then I will give MVP for episode 3. I'll give that to I'm going to give it to Trevor again. I'm going to give it to Trevor for breaking the recording. Breaking the recording, having a conscience, realizing that, the information that the mother gave him and the conversation with Simon, it was personal. Yes, he's giving you his real feelings. Yes, he heard, of course, on the recording is also going to be him having that powerful explosion in the kitchen and knowing how dangerous he could really be. So he made a choice to be a friend first and an informant second at this point. And this is where you really see the kind of the turn in Trevor and him realizing the connection that he has with Simon at this point. This was a real turning point for him. So I'm going to say of him the MVP. LVP's going to Simon's brother Eric. He was an absolute jerk. I hated him at this point. And it does make sense that in the comics he does grow up to become I think it's like Gravedigger. He basically becomes the arch nemesis of Wonder Man in the comic book. So this is great groundwork for that as well. Also of note, in that final conversation between Simon and Trevor before Trevor destroys the recording, he lets him know that no one in Hollywood can know about his powers because they have the whole ban, the doorman policy, because of DeMar Doorman Davis. And ever since what happened to him, no one with superpowers are allowed in Hollywood or allowed in Hollywood roles. So that is an important piece of information that we get in episode 3, which sets the groundwork for episode 4. Episode 4, that is called Doorman, and it's probably the most popular episode of the series. This is the episode that I've seen most people say is their favorite. Most people say is one of the best done, and it's a bottle episode. This has nothing to do with Simon. This is kind of a bottle episode that you can kind of watch without watching the rest of the series. It's a contained story, and it's also the first episode. The episode 3 was directed by James Paulson, and this episode is also directed by James Paulson as well. So this is the story of DeMar Doorman Davis. He's a doorman working at the Wilcox Club in Los Angeles and is exposed to toxic waste from the Roxxon dumpster and is transported to a door-filled dimension. This gives him the ability to phase through solid matter and for objects to teleport by passing through his body. After he saves actor Josh Gad and the other club patrons from during a fire at the club, the press dubs Davis Doorman, and Gad hires him as a bodyguard. While trying to come up with an interesting hook for his heist film, Cash Grab, Gad decides to cast Davis as one of the robbers and uses his powers in the film. Cash Grab is a huge success. Gad's popularity goes up and Davis's celebrity grows, but overexposure and public criticisms take its toll on him, leading to him having alcoholism and addiction. During the filming of a sequel, Cash Grab 2, Davis loses control of his abilities and Gad disappears while passing through his body. He basically passes through him and you think he's going to come out the other side and you just see Davis throw up and he's gone. Josh Gad is gone. He's missing, ladies and gentlemen, and we haven't seen him since. With no one able to find Gad, the Department of Damage Control places Davis under lifelong surveillance, and Hollywood studios create the Doorman Clause, banning superpowered people from appearing in film and television, and requiring actors to sign contracts stating that they have no powers. We actually see Simon watching kind of the news report, basically updating and talking about the new doorman policy following the demise of Doorman Davis. Excellent episode. It's like parts of Spot from Across the Spider-Verse meets an episode of Atlanta. in a lot of ways. This is one of those bottle episodes of Atlanta, those anthology episodes from Atlanta combined with superheroes and with Spot from freaking Spider Across the Spider-Verse. It's so well done. The whole story, the Roxxon mention was great because we haven't heard a lot of Roxxon mention in the Marvel universe. It's mostly connected to Cloak and Dagger, so maybe we get a Cloak and Dagger reboot. Maybe you get a Runaways reboot. I'll be down for that. 100%. Josh Gad was great as his fictional version of himself. Dorman Davis was definitely sympathetic in the journey that he was on, and just being kind of just and alcoholism getting the best of him. So it was another great story about being a Hollywood actor and how fame and celebrity can affect you in so many different ways. We see the demise of him. We see like he has a scandal with this potato product that he was selling. It's so good. It's so little attention to detail was so well done in this episode. This is a big boost up from the previous 3 episodes. I gave this one a thumbs up. Thumbs up overall. Out of 10, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. This is one of the better episodes of the series. So definitely go out of your way to watch. If you just want to watch one episode of the series and you don't want to kind of get hooked into the entire show, just watch episode 4 and you kind of get the idea they're going with, where you're mixing superpowers with the Hollywood kind of journey, Hollywood story. This is so well done. Just watch this episode if you're just going to watch one episode of the series. The LVP, MVP for that episode, I'm going to go with Dorman Davis. No, he's kind of the LVP as well. Josh Gad is sweet. He gave him a chance. He gave him a job as a bodyguard, gave him a job in the movie. I'm going to go with Josh Gad because God bless his soul if he's still missing. What are they going to do about Frozen 3 if he's still missing? And Dorman Davis has to be the LVP because he lost a lot. He lost his life. He had it all, and then he lost it all immediately. Episode 5, Found Footage. You get Trevor Slattery helps Simon Williams, who is already anxious about the callback, celebrate the good news and ignores calls from Cleary. The pair are cornered by a group of drug dealers that Slattery owes money to, forcing Simon to use his powers to incapacitate them and saves Trevor. They are spotted by a boy who has recorded the incident with his GoPro that's on his helmet. And they give chase to him. They chase him in their car. The two give chase to retrieve the footage. In the car, they read a scene sent by Janelle where Slattery's character and sidekick Barnaby betrays Wonder Man for a price. They spot the boy Jaden, who basically goes to like this public club so they can meet in a public place and they have witnesses. Who tells them that he will erase the footage if Simon helps him get back his stolen motorcycle from a man named Esteban. Arriving at Esteban's house, Esteban tells them that Jaden is lying. The drug dealers arrive and hold Jaden hostage in exchange for Slattery. Esteban's friends help Slattery delete the footage from Jaden's GoPro as the police arrive and engage in a gunfight with the drug dealers. This is one of the wildest episodes. It just goes everywhere. You think that Esteban is in charge of he's got people doing like packages, so you're thinking, oh, he's a drug dealer too. And no, he's making peach rings. And from what Trevor says, it's the most delicious peach rings you have ever eaten in your life. So this is so funny. This is funny. It was wild. It was crazy. It had nice little twists and turns. This was another well done episode. Jaden reconciles with Esteban while Simon and Trevor flee. They learn from Janelle that the next round of auditions are at Kovac's house that same day and have moved up, and they're gonna have to go straight there. So they've been up all night trying to give chase to Jaden, go into that club with Jaden, and then trying to go get Jaden's motorcycle back that same day. That's all in one day. We also like a 12-hour period of their day, and they have no sleep, and they have to go right to Kovac's house for the auditions. This is a wild and crazy episode, probably the best episode containing Simon in our actual story outside of the Doorman episode. Found footage definitely gets a thumbs up. Out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 for this one. This was a very good episode of the series. MVP for the episode, I'm going to have to give it to Esteban. I know how that sounds, but Esteban was great. He was great. He's a peach ring an entrepreneur. He was in the right. Jaden was lying to them. Jaden was a jerk. I'm going to give Jaden and the drug dealers the LVP of this episode. That's how it works. Thumbs up for this episode for sure. Callback is our next episode. Callback, we get Simon and Slattery drive to Kovac's mansion for the callback, joining other actors who are in the running to portray Wonder Man and Barnaby. After staying up all night trying to get the GoPro footage, Simon is exhausted. Kovac pairs up the actors and gives them improvisation exercises, basically wanting them to be people having an affair, a lover and his wife, and the wife feels ignored and stuff like that. Slattery does great in this and he impresses the group. Simon, though, he falters because he tries to recreate a scene from the film Pretty Woman rather than using his own experiences and emotions because he doesn't really have that. He's been closed off his entire life. He later falls asleep and dreams of using his powers to kill one of the other actors after that actor calls Simon a freak. Simon then wakes up. Kovac is very disappointed in him because he just disappointed him and faltered in the first exercise, and then he's fallen asleep at the audition. So Simon needs a minute. He goes outside, but Trevor joins him, and Simon confides in Trevor that he is nervous about exposing his powers, but Slattery explains that he is more than his powers and encourages him to show the emotions that he has been keeping inside. Simon and Slattery, they smash this next exercise as they appear together and give a performance that impresses Kovac enough, leading him to cast them both in the movie, Simon as Wonder Man and Slattery as Barnaby. After Simon drives him home, Slattery is immediately picked up by the DODC and berated by Cleary for taking so long. Slattery confirms that Simon has powers and asks Cleary to give him more time to collect evidence, basically trying to stall him a bit. Another good episode here, not as good as the previous two episodes, but still a good episode. I'm going to give it a thumbs up as well. Out of 10, I'll give Callback. Let's give Callback a 7. That's 7 out of 10. This wasn't as good as the previous episode or Doorman, which was like kind of the peak so far of the season. But this was a nice little come down episode, and it was great feeling to see Simon and Trevor nail that performance and get the role in Wonder Man. So great, satisfying ending to the show, and then also seeing Slattery kind of put Cleary and the Department of Damage Control off the scent a bit. So Callback, thumbs up, 7 out of 10. MVP for this episode, I'm going to give it to Simon. He showed great range, like the emotion, being kind of sleep deprived, having that moment where he punched through dude's face, showing off his powers in the dream, not in real life because he would have got fired from the whole thing. But it was so good kind of seeing those different ups and downs that he was going through, all the kind of his head is everything's going on in his head. Because he's trying to kind of hide his real self, and at the same time he's trying to show his deep emotion and show his range as an actor. So he's all over the place, and that's the thing that stops him. It's always his head that stops him from achieving what he wants to achieve in Hollywood. And Trevor kind of telling him, you got to let all that out. You're trying to hide so much of yourself. You got to let it out. And finally, that helped him get the role he's been waiting for. So great stuff from this episode right here. So the Simon and Trevor bromance and their relationship is the best thing about this whole show, and you got to see a lot of that in this episode and how much they've grown in their friendship. So Simon, MVP, LVP for this episode. I want to give it to one of the other actors. No, I'll give it to Cleary. Cleary's a jerk. I hate him. No, I don't hate him. He's fine, but don't like the character too much. Episode 7, Kathy Freeman. Filming for Wonder Man begins. Simon struggles to be personable with the crew and to communicate his thoughts on the script, but is helped by Trevor. Janelle informs the pair that the New York Times journalist Kathy Freeman is writing a profile on them. This terrifies Simon, who describes Freeman as a character assassin, bringing up her breakdown of Jordan Gordon's Levitts and what he did to some pigeons when he was younger. And he says that she will discover and reveal his secret. He becomes paranoid after learning that Freeman talked to Vivian, his ex-girlfriend, Martha, his mother, and Eric, his brother. Vivian reveals to Simon they meet each other at a bar that she knows he has powers, but she did not say anything about them to Freeman and never said anything that she knew to Simon either because she was waiting for him to just tell her. But he never opened up in that way, and that caused their relationship to break down, which makes me more understandable about breaking up with him in the first episode. So, my bad, Vivian. During Friedman's interview with Simon and Slattery, Simon is surprised to learn that Eric spoke highly of him as well. He was very nervous about Eric speaking to him, and he tried to call him and try to find out what he said about him. But Eric will badmouth him to Simon. He will always badmouth Simon to himself, but to everybody else, he's always going to be. That's kind of how siblings work. I have that relationship with my sisters where we'll dig into each other in person, but anybody else is around and I'm talking to somebody else about them, I speak highly. My sisters are the greatest. I have the greatest sisters in the world. I'm gonna clip this and send that to them. Freeman grills Slattery about his latest arrest when he got arrested when he came to Los Angeles and asks him what government deal he cut to avoid returning to prison, prompting him to walk off. Confronted by Simon, Trevor confesses the truth. He reveals that his deal with the DODC to spy on Simon, but promises that he will find a way to get out of it. Upset and overwhelmed by the betrayal, Simon goes to the Wonder Man soundstage and unleashes a large explosion, completely destroying the set and causing a huge disruption, which it was like that was a great cliffhanger to end episode 7, which was our penultimate episode here. Really well done, where you thought like a lot was going to be revealed in regards to Simon from Kathy Freeman, but instead Kathy Freeman basically exposes Trevor's secret. So that was a nice twist on the interview that they focused a lot on in this episode. Simon getting kind of anxious about all the things that Martha or Vivian or Eric would say. You know, he was always in his head about it, and the way he was treating the crew when Kathy was around, when he was trying to be like, oh, I'm a part of the people. I know this person's name. I know this. Oh, buy a gift with this person. It was cool to see kind of Simon get out of his comfort zone and try to change up himself to be a lot more personable. And Trevor not being there also did not help him at all. And then Trevor being the one who gets kind of exposed in the end. And then Simon with the big explosion. That was a great cliffhanger for the final episode and what was going to happen after he just exposed his powers in this way. So this episode, another one, gets a thumbs up. Every episode is going to get a thumbs up. Spoiler alert before we get to the last episode. Out of 10, I'm going to give this episode a 7.5 out of 10. I thought that the reveal at the end was really well done. Simon's explosion was a great cliffhanger. The Kathy Freeman, she's not like an LVP or anything. I think that she was a character tool, a character that was used as a tool to kind of bring us to a great plot twist or a shift into the story and into a big culmination in our final episode here. So very well done on all accounts there. The MVP for this episode, I'm going to give it to Simon again. Simon just going through everything, going through his head, trying to switch up his personality a bit. This was really well done. This was fun to watch. And then LVP for the episode, probably gonna have to give it to my boy Trevor. I'm sorry, Trevor. It's gotta go to you because you done got exposed and you overreacted and you showed all your cards and you had to tell the truth. So yeah, I'll give it to Trevor for this one. Finally, it's episode 8, Yucca Valley. You get Simon returns to his apartment, assuming that he will be caught for the explosion at the Wonder Man set. Slattery calls him though to apologize and says that he has finally found a solution. So Trevor's trying to tell him all of this, and Simon's like, "Yo, they're already gonna come and get me." He's like, "No, don't worry." Slattery actually came up with a solution, and that solution is he's revived his Mandarin persona and sent a video to all the news outlets. Publicly claims the responsibility for the explosion and how he's been working against Hollywood from within. Cleary knows that Slattery is just taking the blame for Simon, but goes along with it because the DODC needs more prisoners to justify their expensive Yucca Valley, California prison. Following Slattery's arrest, Kovac insists that they continue filming. They send one of the PAs to Simon's apartment and they have like a new location to do this filming and tell Simon to use Slattery's betrayal for the scene where Wonder Man is betrayed by Barnaby. Wonder Man is filmed with Joe Pantoliano taking the place of Trevor Slattery yet again. This asshole taking over the role of Barnaby, and the film is a success. We see the Hollywood premiere. We see Martha and Eric going to the film with them, and Janelle. Eric says that he is proud of Simon. They have a nice little moment and a reconciliation at the film. He's very proud of his brother for achieving his dream. Janelle tells Simon that he now has his pick of what role to take next, and that Trevor was right. We see in episode 7 they had a meeting with all the different reps from the talent agency, and they're all trying to pitch different like Netflix movies and maybe a play for him and stuff. And Trevor's like, you should wait till the film comes out before you pick what film you want to do next. Simon decides to shadow a Department of Damage Control guard under the guise of making a new film about him. We don't know he's a damage control guard at first. We just see him at a bar with a guy that's from like a small town, and he basically follows him around. He goes to dinner with his family. He was like, I know this is weird, but you can't tell anybody. And they kind of try to keep it secret. He's trying to shadow him and try to prepare for this new film that he's doing. This gives Simon, as he finally sends, he's like, you can finally go to work with me one day. And then we realize, oh, he works at the prison that Trevor is being held. This gives Simon access to the DODC prison, just as Cleary discovers that Simon's powers use ionic energy and proposes to his boss that Simon could be either a threat or an asset. Simon uses his powers though as he poses as a guard. He basically also send the guard that he was shadowing. He sends him a very large sum of money so he can quit that job because he was complaining that he didn't like the job and being around such evil people all the time. And he uses his powers to break Trevor Slattery out of prison and flies away. And that's how we end this episode and season 1, hopefully, fingers crossed, of Wonder Man. Fantastic ending to the show. This is the best series finale that I've seen from a Marvel Disney Plus series in quite some time. This is a big thumbs up for this episode. Out of 10, I'm gonna give this episode a 9 out of 10 because the twist at the end that they basically got the trust of the DODC guard to get into the prison to break Trevor out, and that he looked out for the guard and got him money so he didn't have to work there anymore. Such a great man. Simon was the GOAT. I love this character. I went from hating him in his first scene to loving him by the end because he did not want to let Trevor rot in prison for a crime that he committed, and that friendship, that bromance that we saw develop throughout the season, it meant something to him. And despite his betrayal, despite the secret that he was holding against him, he could not hold that against him and could not let Trevor go down for something that he did. Simon is a GOAT character in the Marvel universe. Like, this was so well done across 8 episodes. Big thumbs up for episode 8 out of 10. It's going to get a 9 out of 10 for me because this was one of the most satisfying endings to a Marvel Disney Plus series that I've seen in quite some time, probably since Low-Key season 2. Thumbs up for that. MVP is Simon 100%. LVP is Cleary because he looked like an idiot by the end because he found out that Simon was really behind the explosion at the movie set, but it was too late because Simon used his powers to get up out of here. And we find out that Simon can fly at the end as well. Such a great ending. Out of 10 for Wonder Man, it's going to get an 8.5 out of 10. Probably one of the highest scores I've given for a Disney Plus series ever. I really enjoyed this one. Go out of your way to watch it. It might not be for everyone, but if you like character development, character arcs, you like a journey to go on, you like Hollywood movies, like The Studio and stuff like that, or Wonderland. If you like stuff like that, you're going to very much enjoy Wonder Man. Such a great series. In my opinion, the best Disney Plus series since Low-Key Season 2. So that is our review for Wonder Man. MVP for the series or season, Simon and Trevor. Simon and Trevor co-LVPs. Co-MVP, excuse me. Simon and Trevor co-MVPs. LVP P Cleary. P Cleary getting the fuck out of here. Hate that guy. Eric, honorable mention, because I didn't like Eric too much until they reconciled at the end there. Such a great series. Go out of your way to watch it and come back here. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Appreciate y'all for joining us on True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment. Check out, if you haven't already, True Hill Heat Check with myself and Chris G. Check out episode 21, where we gave you our mid-season awards. And also join us back here tomorrow, on Friday, as we will be here for our trade deadline edition of True Hill Heat Check, talking about the James Harden trade, talking about AD, talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, and everything else. If they get traded, if they're not, we'll talk about it. Check it out. But thank you for watching our Wonder Man Season 1 review. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3, signing off. Until next time.